One thing that has been a constant in my life for a good number of years is dealing with clutter and dealing with stuff. I have been up close and personal with stuff in ways that are really hard to describe. Most of us can look around our house and realize, I got a lot of stuff. Now, some of that stuff may have been given to us. Some of it we may have inherited from family members or others. A lot of it we've probably just bought ourselves and brought in because we liked it or it sparked something in us at the time. But at some point, many of us are going to look around at all this stuff in our homes and we're going to ask ourselves, how do I get rid of some of this stuff? You see, clutter is insidious. Clutter tends to creep up on us without us even realizing it. We can have done a declutter and be happy with the way things look. Things are organized, they're tidy, we've gotten rid of that excess stuff, but it's not one and done, because at some point we're going to look around and realize that clutter's come back into my house. Don't know how it happened. Gremlins must have brought it in and left it, but here it is again. But so many people, myself included at times, have a really hard time getting rid of stuff. And whether they want to call it clutter or junk or just stuff, there's no value judgment here to it. They still have a hard time getting rid of it. Well, I had an epiphany a few years ago that really changed the way that I think about stuff. And here's the story behind it. My mother had gotten sick and had been in the hospital for a few weeks before she passed away. And the same week that she passed away, a water heater busted in the back of the house and flooded the house. That water heater must have been running for several days. I think my dad said there were 32,000 gallons of water that had run through the house and had landed in the basement, turned it into a little swimming pool. Nevertheless, it meant that we were really having to pull things out, get things ripped up, carpet ripped up, get dryers in so that they could begin to come in and repair. And it was enough damage that they had to, cut sheetrock off and redo. I mean, it was a pretty major thing. But while all this stuff was then taken out, then once things were fixed back up, it became a case of, okay, we got to now put things back together. And that's where my job came in. I was given the task of taking care of a lot of the stuff of my mother's. Now, my mother had excellent taste. She loved beautiful things. She was a collector extraordinaire, but she had a lot of stuff. In addition to her having had a lot of stuff, there was still a lot of stuff in the house that belonged to my grandmother. So I had been out here one weekend not too long after that, and I was working on going through some of the stuff, and it was exhausting, to be real honest, just how much there was to deal with. And when I went home at the end of the weekend, I had been telling my husband and kids, we need to have a garage sale. And so I was gathering things for the garage sale, and I looked around at my own house, and I had one of those blinding flashes of the obvious, one of those lightning bolt aha moments that struck me. And it was this. It dawned on me that the easiest way for me to get rid of my stuff and probably to help other people get rid of theirs was to ask myself this one question. Now, I'm not trying to be morbid here, but hang on. The question I needed to ask myself was, do I love this particular item enough that I want my kids to have to deal with this when I'm dead and gone? Now, you may not have any kids. That may not be a question exactly for you, but it still is a question that's worth looking at in some shape or form. Do the things in your house, do you love them enough? Do they bring you enough joy and satisfaction that you want someone who you know and love to come in behind you and have to deal with it, to have to toss it, to have to make decisions to donate it, to sell it, whatever? Now, I'm not saying that we get rid of every item in our house. Goodness knows that would be unrealistic and stupid advice for me to give, okay? And you're not stupid people. You'd know not to take that advice anyway. We're all going to die at some point, and there's going to be food in the refrigerator. And there's going to be dishes and pots and pans in the kitchen. And there are going to be towels in the bathroom and clothes hanging in the closet. And there's going to be stuff that is the daily stuff of living. What I'm talking about here is the extra stuff. The collections. The piles. the sentimental stuff that's maybe only sentimental to you because you knew and loved the person that you got it from, but that nobody else may have any kind of emotional attachment to. All the decorative stuff, all of those things that we bring in, sometimes we bring them in because they're pretty and we like them. They make our house look nice, or they make us feel good. Whatever the reason, like I said, no value judgment here. I have brought in plenty of stuff of my own to my house. But at some point, we ask ourselves the question, does this make me happy enough? Does it give me enough joy and pleasure that I'm willing to inflict it on somebody else to come in behind me and to deal with it? Because I didn't deal with it now. Now, I realize that may sound like a very morbid question. I truly don't mean it that way. But sometimes asking ourselves the hard questions about things can actually be pretty freeing, and it puts things into perspective. After all, I know good and well that one of these days my kids are going to come in and they're going to have to clean up some stuff behind me. It's going to happen. But I don't want them to have to clean up extra stuff that I could have dealt with. Now, you may have read the book Swedish Death Cleaning. If not, it's an interesting book. I recommend reading it. But I do not want the people that I love and care for the most in this world to have extra burdens that I put on them because I didn't go ahead and clean some of it up. And that's simply what I'm advocating here, is to ask yourself the question about the stuff in your house. Obviously not the bath towels, not the pots and pans. We got to have some of that kind of stuff. But those extra things that cover up surfaces and that are sitting around on bookshelves and that are stuffed into closets and cabinets and those kind of things, are they things that we can get rid of now so that we do not leave them as a burden to the folks who are going to come in behind us and deal with our stuff? So it's just a thought for the day. Like I said, that was just one of those absolutely blinding, moments that I had that has helped me a lot and has put a lot of things in perspective about stuff. It's changed the way I view things, and it's also caused me to realize that I don't want to be a burden to other people any more than it's going to be. I don't want to create additional burdens and trials and hardships and work for them because I didn't deal with some of it now. So, just a thought I wanted to pass on. I'm curious if you have problems with stuff, if things are hard for you to get rid of. If so, what types of things and what have you tried? It might be worth us having a conversation about. In the meantime, I hope you have a great day and go tame some of your frenzy.